Hello, everybody. Welcome back to another live. I'm so excited to be here. It's been almost 2 months because of the way, where Thanksgiving fell this year and then into Vlogmas. I haven't been live in almost 2 months, which is crazy. But I'm so excited to be here with all of you today and hang out. And let's kick it off the way we always have and always will with this, which is celebrating our wins. So I want to start by celebrating one small win that you have from the last week, last year, last month, whatever it is that you want to share, one win. If you are here live, please say hello in the chat and let us know what your win is. And if you are part of the replay fam, please say hello in the comments and let us know what your win is down there. Mine is that I actually started packing and momentum is so real. Like once I did one box, I wanted to do another box and another box to the point that I've packed something that I might need, but I may also just borrow something from my sister because I packed like all of summer shoes and heels. And I realized we have an event in a couple of weeks that I need a pair of heels or at least a pair of nice shoes for. And I kept my flats out. So I could just wear those. We'll see. We'll see what I decide to end up doing, or unpack or opening the box or borrowing from my sister. Those are my other choices. But it is amazing how once I started, it really, really just snowballed. And the momentum really, really got to me. So let's share. Hello. Just filled up your 40-ounce water. Let me take a sip of my water. Thank you for the reminder, Shannon. So far for this year has been one sip of water every day. Micah, I'm assuming that that's you. If you plan to keep anonymous, I apologize for saying that, but it's just your name or your YouTube channel. But I know that that's what you shared the other day. My win is I did my routine list during yesterday's community call. I love that. I have made it to full term 37 weeks, Brittany. Oh my gosh. I feel like just yesterday you were sharing with us that you were pregnant. And now here you are, 37 weeks, and she'll be here before the end of the month. I'm so excited for you and your family. Your AM routine is going great. Honing in on the exact amount of time for each task. I love that. Surviving this cold in Florida, y'all can have this back. Thanks. I mean, the weather right now, y'all, and not to I'm excited and happy and all the things, but I also am sending all of my good thoughts and good vibes to the people of California and everything they're going through. We have family over there on my father-in-law's side. They've had to evacuate, and it's so scary. And I just thinking of all of you who are either around there or know somebody near there. So scary. Worked on your winter driving skills. That's amazing, Rachel. I love that. Attended your first calligraphy and Pilates class. Oh my God, that's amazing. Getting a 3.7 GPA, being ahead on wedding planning. So much exciting news. Jamie, I'm so excited for you. She already shared it with me a couple days ago, but I'm so excited for you. Made it to a live event 2 days in a row. I know. If you are a community member and you're able to join live on Tuesdays, it's just like one thing after the other for us. One day into the next day. I love it. All right, let's jump in to all the things. First things first, I want to make sure if you did not see this on Instagram, I also am talking about it in an upcoming vlog. Book updates have moved. So instead of sharing my updates with you here on the live for a variety of reasons and lots of feedback, I very much appreciate it. We are moving book check-ins for real-time updates and then just a star rating. I'm going to post on Instagram. So when I finish a book, like the day I finish a book, I'm going to post about it on Instagram. I'm not going to talk about anything really in detail except what my star rating is and that I've finished it, and I'll keep my running total for the year. And then during vlogs, I will give more in-depth reviews. So I'll sit here chatty style and I will go through any books that I have finished since the last vlog. And given I vlog about once a month, sometimes twice a month, my guess is there will be at least one, if not 2 or 3 book updates to give you. And I will give you my actual thoughts, who I think it's good for, etc., more in-depth reviews. So that's the plan when it comes to books. Let me check the chat really quick. Okay. Oh my gosh. Yes. Oh my gosh. Those poor people in California. Okay. Let's do, this is not moving, is my monthly goal check-in. This I definitely want to keep going in the new year because I think that this is incredibly helpful to show you my goal progress in real time. So if you have not watched my January goals video where I go through all of these steps that is there for you, where I talk about each of these steps individually, what they mean, what goal they're associated with, etc. During the live chats, I'm just going to go through what I have completed and how I feel like things are going in general. So obviously for the one-time steps, the finished packing, I've started. Like I said in my win, I've started packing. So I have made progress on that. I obviously haven't finished it. I will say, when I filmed the video about my January goals, we had our move scheduled for January 23rd. We've already pushed it back a week to January 30th. We cannot push it back anymore. So this finished packing will still happen in January. Like, there are people moving into our apartment on February 1st. So we have to be out of here. But so it has to get done, but I still like that it's here and I get that check mark when I do finish it. The next one, though, to start unpacking, that one I definitely expected to be like almost an easy check mark, because if we were moving on the 23rd, like, of course I was going to unpack at least one box before the end of the month. But now if we're moving on the 30th, I mean, let's be real. Like, am I really going to make it through a couple of days without unpacking? Probably not. And the other component of this is something that we've talked about a couple of times. Your month doesn't have to start perfectly on the 1st and end on the last day of the month. Like, your month can start later or start earlier. I know some of you didn't start your goals until this week. That's awesome. So January ends on a Friday. And so for me, I'm actually not going to start my February goals till that following Monday. Even if I wasn't moving, I probably would do the same, but especially because we're moving, I'm not going to start new goals like the week of January 27th. Like, that doesn't make sense to me. And I'm not going to start them Saturday, February 1st, right? So I will definitely unpack before Monday, February 3rd. I think it's safe to say. I did make my playlist. I'm not sure how I feel about it. I kind of was going for like a songs that felt like a fresh start, but also songs that made me feel motivated and pumped up. I was Googling, I called them like main character energy songs. I was looking for songs that made me feel like, I'm walking in a movie. And I feel like I like it. I feel like it's kind of a hodgepodge, but that's always how my music tastes are. So it is what it is. And then, okay, moving into the weekly stuff. I got my creative time in last week. That was a little bit easier because my husband wasn't working. And so it was a little bit easier to squeeze in some creative time. And I did get all my workouts in. Daily habits, so far so good. Packing, like you can see, was a much slower start. I did not start until over the weekend, but once I started, man, I did not stop. And I've done at least one thing every day. Music has been pretty good and consistent. Water has been pretty good and consistent. Not great, but higher percentage than what I did in the last 100 days. And then vegetable, it's not every day, but I'm getting there. I'm trying. So January starts the first Monday in January. Yeah, I feel that. I feel like playlists are ever changing. I agree, Monica. And I feel like I will add and change some things to the playlist. And it's only for Q1. And really, for me, I'm thinking we're going on vacation March 8th, 7th, 8th. I can't remember exactly what day we leave. I know that's weird. It's on my calendar. So it'll probably be my playlist through that date. And then when we get back from our trip, I'll probably refresh and have a new playlist. So that is the check-in for my goals. Okay. We have a lot of things to talk about today. So before we even get to the topic, January calendar, because we did not have a call in December, we need to talk about the January calendar. So here is the calendar for January. New YouTube videos on Mondays. Those aren't going anywhere. Then on Wednesdays, obviously we're here on the 8th, the live chats. Next week, there will be no live chat because we are going to be out of town, but then there will be ones the following week, and there will obviously be a YouTube video in its place. If you did not see this anywhere, community calls have moved to a daytime slot. Maybe that's easier for you. Maybe it's not. Maybe it doesn't matter to you. You're still not interested. No big deal. I just wanted to make sure that you saw that. So on Tuesdays, and they are always going to be on Tuesdays at 1 p.m. Eastern. That is when our coaching calls are. That is when they will be for the whole year. The only reason that it will not be that day is because I'm out of town, and it will be pre-recorded, as you can see, for next week. The other thing that we've added into the community is just a hangout coffee chat, and that is going to be Saturday the 11th, which is this Saturday, actually. So if you want to come hang out and chat, it's going to be totally casual, like no presentation, no questions, no topics, just us chilling on Saturday. Okay. Now, the most exciting news, which if you follow me on Instagram or you're a community member, you may have already seen this. I posted it literally 30 minutes ago. So if you didn't, don't freak out. I have details for you for the in-person event for the summer. I was waiting for a bunch of reasons until 2025. The biggest one being the expense. I needed the expense to not hit until 2025 for booking. So let's talk about it. Where is this? Okay. So go ahead and grab your planner, mark your calendar. I think I mentioned this somewhere, but it may have not been alive, that the premise or what we're celebrating, what we are doing for the in-person event is celebrating that the community is going to be turning 5. On August 1st, the Goals of Lake community will be 5. I still cannot believe that, but it was the summer of 2020. That was when I launched it. I mean, it looked very different when I first launched it. We were over on Patreon. It looked so different. And then things have changed. We moved to Teachable, like all kinds of things, but it is turning 5. And you are invited to come celebrate with us. It is going to be a whole weekend of things. That way, for those of you that are talking about traveling from other places into the city, you're not coming to Chicago just for like one event. I didn't want that. So it will start during the day on Saturday, August 9th. If you are a community member, we are going to be doing lunch. That will be from 12 to 1 on Saturday. Then right into that, I almost knocked my water over. Following right into that will be the birthday party. And everyone is invited. You do not have to be a community member to join. If you want to come and meet people and hang out and celebrate, I'm just using the Goals with Laken community birthday as an excuse to celebrate. But the actual event is open to absolutely everyone. That event itself will be ticketed. So there will be a cost associated with it. I'm going to get to that. And that will be from 1 to 4 in the afternoon. Then we will take a little bit of a break. I'm going to go take a chill pill for a second, cuddle my peanut, have some food. And then we're going to do an event in the evening for Sisters Like Us listeners. These details are still not finalized. I have to get with my sister, the other half of Sisters Like Us, to get that in depth. And everyone is invited to that as well, whether you're a podcast listener or not. We are hopefully going to do a live recording of an episode together and then go to our favorite karaoke bar. So you are welcome to come to that, whether you are a listener or not. If you want to come to the recording or just to the bar or whatever, it's all going to be available to you. And then on Sunday, if you are traveling and you're staying through the weekend, we're going to do a casual family picnic. This is something that I'm hoping Sam and Lila are going to be able to come to as well. And we can just like hang out. I'm debating between a couple of parks. It's all going to be very close to each other. This is all going to be very Lincoln Park centric. But I'm leaning towards a different park besides Lincoln Park, just from a ease of like parking situation. And they have a fantastic playground. So if you are around the area and if you're bringing, this is also like bring whoever. Now you're welcome to bring whoever to the other events as well. Just know that the birthday party is going to be ticketed. So if you're bringing somebody with you, like they're also going to need a ticket. Whereas like the other stuff is just totally casual. And so you can bring whoever you want to bring. Kids are totally welcome. Like I said, it's going to be at a park. So that is the lineup for the weekend. Obviously, I know I already said this, but it's here in Chicago where I live. I also feel like it's a nice central location for a lot of people. I know a lot of you are in the Midwest and you can drive. Some of you said you were going to take the train, which I love. Lots and lots of options. The actual birthday party. So this is, like I said, everything else, I will share all the details. I'm going to make like a landing page on a website. I have not done that yet. I just wanted you to get the details in your hands for dates and costs, etc. So the actual birthday party that will require a ticket, like I said, is on Saturday the 9th from 1 to 4. It is going to, obviously, you're going to be able to meet everyone. You're going to meet me. We're going to have a photo op, all the things. And then we're going to have drinks and desserts. There will be both alcoholic and non-alcoholic options. And then, of course, a goodie bag. It's not a birthday party without a goodie bag. And the price for that is going to be $40. To cover the cost of the things and the venue and whatnot. So there is a limit. I don't know if we're going to hit the limit. We are not at on the current wait list, which is linked in the description box if you're interested. We are not at the number, but I also don't anticipate everyone who signed up for the wait list to buy a ticket. But yeah, it's based on the capacity of the actual venue. So, okay. Tickets will go on sale February 1st. These details, they will not go on sale before this. This will be the first date, but I am planning to release them to community members first, then the wait list, and then everybody else. So if you are interested, make sure you're on the wait list. Obviously, community members, you'll get notified first. Whether that's just like different times throughout the day on the first or like the first, second, third, I've not figured that out, but the earliest possible date will be the first. And then, yeah, all that jazz. Okay. That's it. I feel like that was very babbly. Needing the expense to hit in the right fiscal year is real. Thank you. Thank you for understanding. I appreciate it. Happy New Year. Hello. It's in my planner. It's so exciting. Added to your planner. Oh my gosh. I love that you're offering the picnic because if we take the train, I'd want to bring my husband, baby, and it'd be nice to bring them. Exactly. Exactly. If you're bringing somebody else with you and like you want to be able to, it's just also so more chill. And again, I'm hoping you guys who want to be able to meet Sam or Lila or both, they will be able to be there as well. The time on that I'm trying to figure out because Lila's nap is right in the prime, like I'm having a picnic time. So it's either going to be like a brunch picnic or it's going to be like a afternoon picnic because lunch is like Lila's nap time, which is tough. So on my calendar and PTO approved. I'm so excited to see you. My boss is already telling me things I need to do on there. I love it. I will definitely have like a recommendations of other things to do in Chicago, both if you're coming early for like Friday night, breakfast brunch on Saturday morning, that in between gap on Saturday to like places to go get food, et cetera. I will have lots of suggestions, other things to do in Chicago with kids, without kids, et cetera. That will all come later. Right now, I wanted you to have the date, the cost, and when tickets will go on sale. Like that was what was important to me to get out into the internet. And the rest of the details will come later. August is a beautiful time of year to be in the city. It was literally the only weekend I could do it. I talked about this on our New Year's Eve party we had in the community, but the weekend before is Lolla. So like, no, none of us want to be in the city during Lollapalooza. The weekend after is the Air and Water Show. Same concept. It's chaos here. The weekend after, my sister's out of town. That's why we can't do the weekend of like August 22nd or whatever. And the weekend after is Lila's birthday. So like, it was literally the only option for the beautiful month of August and celebrate the birthday and all the things. So I'm excited to finally share that info with you. Again, the waitlist is in the description of the video. If you want to sign up for the waitlist, community members, you will get, first notification, all the things. If you're booking hotels, you're looking at the Lincoln Park area. If you want to be super close, like walking distance potentially, yes. Hotels in Lincoln Park are more expensive. It is not like necessarily the tourist area, right? The tourist area is going to be further south. Public transit is so easy in the city. So if you are wanting to stay in different parts of the city, you can very easily take public transit, Ubers, etc., to get around. Obviously I love Lincoln Park and that's where we are moving to. And that's where my mom lives and that's where everything is going to be. But the hotels do tend to be more expensive here. And so if you do want to stay somewhere else that's less expensive, there are other options for transport. But then I guess it kind of like evens out. I feel like I always had to think about that when I was traveling was like, okay, if I pick this hotel that's further away, but then I have to Uber to my thing, right? Then does it offset? Currently hitting up a friend who lives there to see if I can get a free hotel. Yeah, for sure. If you know somebody here, and I will give all kinds of instructions on like how to get places and whatnot too. And I'm here. I mean, it's literally 8 months or not 8 months, 7 months from tomorrow. So we have lots of time to plan and all the things. Okay. Any other questions on that before we move on? I'm so excited. I'm so excited to meet so many people. I'm so pumped. Okay. I need to decide how I'm getting there. I know I saw y'all the other day talking about like picking someone up on the way. There's lots of choices. Trains, planes, automobiles. Okie dokie. Let's chat. So this video, the purpose of this video is different. It's obviously going to be a little bit different, but I wanted to try something new because I wanted to just see how this kind of went. Instead of me sitting here and just like talking to you, I wanted there to be something we could try that was more back and forth, something where we like are communicating during the topic part as opposed to just like me talking at you essentially for a topic. So what I want to do is for a couple guinea pigs. I'm more nervous that like no one is going to volunteer. So please somebody volunteer. I want to give you feedback, thoughts, and suggestions on your 2025 goals. This is not going to be like me telling you to change them. It's January 8th. And like, if you have it set, you have it set. It is more going to be me asking you some follow-up questions to just dig a little deeper into your goal and maybe give you some suggestions, give you some of my like reactions to it, et cetera, et cetera. So if you are open to it, and you're able to chat. I know that some of you that are here live will like, you're listening as you do something else. So that I need you to be able to like sit here and type back to me so we can have a conversation. But if you are up for it, I would love for you to comment with goal in like all capital letters so that it pops up and I can see it. And then whatever the goal is that you want to chat about. If you have more than one, just like pick one, whatever you're most excited about. It doesn't matter. It's whatever goal you want to chat about. So oh my gosh, look at all these. You can absolutely use me. Okay, awesome. Micah, let's start with this one. This is the first one that I saw. Okay, building your business. So my first question in reaction to that is what do you mean by build? Like, what does it look like when, let's take our timeline hat off for a second. If I asked you, what does this goal look like when you're done with it? What does this goal look like to build a business, right? What does it mean? Oh my God, look at all these people volunteering. You guys, I'm so excited about this. Okay, this is going to be so fun. Let's chat. I know there's going to be maybe a little bit of a lag because I think that there just always is between like me saying things and you being able to comment. Okay. By the end of the year, I'd like to be monetized on YouTube and providing more content related to financial wellness. I love that. Okay. Well, first off, you can go follow her. You can see her YouTube handle name here. And I love that. So my first reaction to this is, are you comfortable? So being monetized on YouTube is a fantastic goal. And if y'all were around for the saga where I hit the numbers to get monetized, but my channel did not get approved for like 9 months, it was bananas. This is somewhat out of your control, right? There are steps you can take to get you closer to that, but it is not in your control. Now, that doesn't make it a bad goal. It just means that you have to be okay with picking action steps and following through on them, but then maybe not seeing this result that you want. Like, you could put in all the work and do all the things over the course of the year, but potentially at the end of the year, not actually be monetized, right? Because there are 3 components to this. There are the number of subscribers, which again is not in your control. You can put out great videos. You can ask people to subscribe, but hitting that number is still not in your control. Number 2 is watch hours. Yep. 4,000 watch hours. So it's 1,000 subscribers and 4,000 watch hours. Same thing. You can put out fantastic videos, but getting people to watch them and watch them all the way through or watch them to a certain point to get the hours is hard. And then the third part is them approving you. Now, supposedly they're not as backlogged as they were back in 2018 when it took me forever to get approved. But that piece of it is still, you could hit this number on December 30th and still not be monetized by the end of the year, right? So the first thing is kind of a mindset thing, and it's being okay with putting in the action and not necessarily seeing this at the end of the year. Okay. What I can control is improving my content and being consistent. And I have faith it will grow. I just don't know what I don't know to improve. Okay, awesome. I love that. So there's obviously 2 pieces to this, what you said you can control, right? Is improving your content and being consistent. So I'm going to tackle the consistent one first because it's a little bit easier in theory, right? The number one thing to being consistent is not attempting more than you can handle, right? So based on everything else you have going on in your life, based on the amount of time it takes you to decide, map out a video, film, edit, upload, all the things like the steps, and you already have a channel. So you probably have a somewhat of an estimate. Have a upload goal, an upload schedule that makes sense for your life. Don't try to just like, oh, well, so-and-so is doing this, or the best practice says to do this. Me nodding, like you can see me. Yeah, that's okay. I love this back and forth, and you can nod virtually. But pick an upload schedule that is fits within your life. That is how you're going to be consistent. Okay. Easy peasy. Okay. Talking about improving. So the number one tip I ever heard from somebody when talking about creating like quality content, improving your content, is know who you're talking to. So it's going to sound so cheesy, but I want you to create your ideal subscriber. What does that person look like? Who are you talking to? Now, I struggle with the like, give them a name. Like, mine doesn't have a name. Okay. I don't know what her name would be. It doesn't matter. But I have a description of who I am talking to. And it doesn't mean that every single person that watches your videos and subscribes and is a member of your community is going to look like that. That is obviously not the case. But when you know exactly who you're talking to, it is so much easier for you to create quality content for your purpose and for what you're talking about. So, how old is your person? What do they do for a living? What does their background look like? Are they married? Do they have kids? What are their hobbies? What are their okay, you have a description, but maybe it's too vague. I think more specific is better. I think sometimes we stray too vague because we're like, well, I want to appeal to everybody. Guess what? You can appeal to more than just your ideal person, right? You can appeal. I just want to pop this back up so you can see it. Other people can know what we're talking about here if you jump in. You can appeal to more people than just your ideal person, but your content quality is going to improve if you are talking to a specific person. I know it may sound backwards. I understand that. And I struggled for a long time. I was like, I'm for everybody. And it's like, no, I'm not. I'm not for everybody. I am for a very specific type of person. And I'm not going to tell you mine because I don't want those of you who are like, well, that's not me, to be like, it's because it's not the point. The point is that your content can still be helpful for a larger group of people, but your quality is going to improve if you just focus on your specific person. So get really clear on what that person is. And then when you're creating content, be like, is this what your person would want to hear? Is this what your person needs to hear? And then you create that. The last thing I will say in terms of improving your content, and then so many of you volunteered, so I'm going to move on, but hopefully this was helpful, Micah, is take the time to go back and analyze. I am definitely coming at this from a do as I say and not as I do, because I'm not good at this. I'm good at doing this on a macro level. I'm not good at doing this on a micro level. But looking at individual videos that did well and saying what worked about this video, what was good about this video. Was it the thumbnail? Was it the title? Was it the grab? Was it like, what was it? And then the videos that don't do well, what is it about this? Like, why is this not like a type of video that's working? And what you're ultimately trying to do is we have a Venn diagram here, and we have content that you like to create and content that people like to consume. And we're trying to find where those overlap. Content that you like to create and content that people like to consume. There might be some things that you create just for you and people aren't as excited about it. And then there might be things sometimes that you create because you know people are going to like it, even though it's not your favorite. But for the majority of it, I want you to find what's in the middle. Okay. Hopefully that was helpful. I love it. Colleen, imagine in your head a specific type of person? Yeah. When I make content, I am thinking of like, I have a person, like they call it like an avatar, right? I have a client avatar of like, this is my person that I talk to. Okay. Who was next? All right, Rachel. Getting out of your shell, primarily being able to go out and eat and do things by yourself. So my first follow-up question to this is, was there like, or is there, I'm trying to figure out how to phrase it. What's necessarily driving this? Why is this goal important to you? I guess it's that simple, but like, and if you're not comfortable sharing, I'm assuming because you volunteered that you're comfortable sharing, but like, why is this something that's important to you? Because my guess is there's a lot of people in this world who don't care, like who also wouldn't necessarily go out and eat and do things by themselves, but it's not a big deal. Like they don't care that they don't do that. So I would love to hear kind of why this is important to you. This is from Linda. I got some good advice about my avatar last year. Make your content for your ideal ready to buy customer. Your content will appeal to more, but this is who you need to think about. That's a good tip too. Yeah, if you're creating content to sell something, for sure. Okay. I'm such an introvert. I want to go and smell the roses and see new things. Okay. So what is it then that is necessarily holding? Okay, I love this. I don't have a ton of new friends, but I don't want to let not having somebody who wants to experience those things with me stop me. So if I told you that like the best action step for this, right, would be to just go do it, to go to a restaurant and sit and have dinner. What's the first thing that pops into your head? Like, what do you feel like is holding you back from going to do that? Like, where's the roadblock? That's like, what's the fear behind that? Or what is, I get, yeah, what's the roadblock from just doing that action step? Awkward in between pause while she answers. And I know it's tough. I know that these kinds of goals where it's like emotional and like feelings based can be so much harder than like a practical goal, right? Like decluttering your house, there's emotions involved in that too. But you know what I mean? Like, right, that's a much more practical, like I can break this down and I can follow it. These kinds of things sometimes it's just a matter of figuring out what is stopping you. And you may not be able to answer. Maybe you can't answer that question, which is totally fine. Maybe it is trying it and then seeing what it is that comes up. I'm honestly not quite sure. I've been able to go pick up things from places and sit in quick service restaurants. But maybe it's the fact that most of those sit down restaurants are far from me. Okay. So maybe it's not overthinking it, right? Like maybe some of these things, right, we build up in our heads, like these big giant things where like it's going to be so hard and it's going to be so this and that. And then we just need to commit to it, right? And so if it is you're not sure, maybe you just need to try it, right? Schedule time. And if they're further away from you, then you know you have to schedule more time to do it and then see how it goes. And this is definitely one of those goals where we could sit here all day long and brainstorm and try to come up with action steps. But the best way for you to figure out what works and what doesn't and what makes you feel better about this goal is actually just doing it. Is taking the steps and seeing what works and seeing what doesn't work and trying new things. And I know that that's not fun to be like, you just want me to do it. And then you will learn and be able to pick more action steps. There are definitely goals that I've had where I just know the first step and then I'll figure out the rest of them from there. Maybe you could pick a movie that you love to see and just go. It'll be dark and there's other people. Oh my gosh, I love going to the movie theaters alone for sure. Can you make a to-do list of a few things to do while you're out? And then once you're done, leave and next time add one more thing. Lots of options. I think do it scared. This is my motto this year. I don't disagree. I think it is way easier said than done. And I also know that this is one of those things that will get easier with time. The more you do it, the easier it will get. And so I always talk about this when we talk about like boundaries and saying no, right? The first time you have to do it, it's hard. It's so hard. And then it gets easier. And then you do it a little bit more and it gets easier. Do it a little bit more and it gets easier. And so start as small as possible, right? So it sounds like you've already started with going to pick up places and then doing quick service restaurants. Make a list of what the other things are, right? And maybe the sit down one is further down the list. Maybe it's something like going to it sounds like maybe if the sit down restaurants are further, these kinds of activities that I'm going to suggest are maybe further, right? Like going to a museum or a zoo or like something like that. Going to a park, it's the middle of Winter Laken, but you know what I mean? Like these kinds of things. I would start by writing down what are these things that you want to do, right? Go back to that why. Doing these things, smelling the roses, like you said. What are those things? What does that look like? And then sort them by easiest to hardest and start with the easiest one, whatever easy means to you. I typically have things to do when I go to town. So maybe I could, depending on how things fall. And just do your best. It's not going to be perfect. It's not going to be like exactly everything's not going to line up and you're not going to be able to, by the end of the year, maybe do everything on your list. But if you can at least start this is also one of those goals, right? Where at the end of the year, it's probably not going to be like, I'm going to pop up your initial goal again. Your goal, like check off at the end of the year. It's going to be, how do I feel like I grew? On a scale of 1 to 10, how do I feel like I improved from the beginning of the year? Okay. Hopefully that was helpful. I know that's a tough goal. I know it's tough. Okay, I gotta scroll back up to the top. Your goal is to have a baby. Do you really want to talk about this one? If you have any follow-up, I am happy to talk about this and break this down with you. But my biggest recommendation here, I don't know if it's your first or not, is to take things on a smaller scale. So do not try to plan out super far in advance, even during pregnancy. And then especially once the baby is here, I don't know when you're due, but to like plan 1 week at a time. Don't try to plan super far out. Plan a little bit at a time, adjust like you need. The feeling that I have so much to do before baby gets here, but then the fear of having no idea what will my life look like after baby, fear of the unknown and lack of control. Oh my gosh, I feel you. I completely feel you. So let's tackle this in 2 pieces. Part 1 is before baby and part 2 is after baby. Part 2 is before baby. Step 1, get everything out of your head, right? The so much to do before baby gets here. Get it all out of your head, write it all down, make the list. It's going to take you time because your pregnancy brain's there. It's going to take you time to figure out what that list it fully looks like, but make the list. You're due at the end of May. Okay, great. Perfect. So it's from now until the end of May and then after that. So first off, let go of quarters. Quarters this year do not matter to you. We are not maybe a month at a time, but maybe like before baby's born, or maybe a month at a time for like the first 3 months and then maybe a week at a time. Make your list. And then I want you to put it into 3 categories. Category 1, absolutely has to get done before the baby gets here. Okay. What goes on that list, right? Crib actually doesn't need to get made because your baby's not necessarily sleeping in the crib when it first gets home, right? I know that's not fun. I know that's not like you want to put that on the list, right? But what absolutely has to get done? What can be done by somebody else? That can be done by somebody else, right? Shopping, going to buy diapers, that can be done by somebody else. What can be done by somebody else? And if you're like, I don't have that person, we're sorting them into the list. And then category 3 would be nice to haves. I know the nesting kicks in. Your baby doesn't care that your baseboards are clean. Your baby doesn't care that your pantry is decluttered. Doesn't matter. My must-dos, what help from people, what other people can do, and what would be nice to have. And then start tackling things a little at a time and don't be afraid to ask for help. And I will always, I'm just going to tell you right now, sometimes you can have, I made this perfect plan of all the things that were going to happen before the baby got here. And then she came 3 weeks early. And so I've never fully told the story and I don't necessarily plan to, but I did actually spend a couple of days in the hospital leading up to her birth. And during that week, let me tell you, we figured out what absolutely has to get done. And we figured out that everything can be done by somebody else because I was unable to do any of it. And so everybody in my family had different jobs. One of my siblings trimmed Charlie's nails. That was her job. One member of my family, like everybody had a job, and installing the car seat, like that was my stepdad's job, right? Like everybody had a job, and we figured out what absolutely had to get done before Lila was born, and we made it happen. Like you will make it happen. And so I know that that's like a feeling thing that I can only tell you, and you can't until you experience it yourself. But the like what's going to happen is going to happen, and you'll figure it out, I guess is what I'm telling you. Okay. Post baby, 1 week at a time for sure. And frankly, at the beginning, don't even worry about anything. Lists out the window. Goals don't matter. Like you are surviving and you're doing so literally 1 hour at a time at that point at the beginning. Then once you start to feel like you're a little bit above surviving, then you can maybe start to plan a day at a time. But what I will remind you of is asking for help is okay. People want to help you. They want to help you. So ask for help. Tell them exactly what they can do and be specific and don't feel bad about it. You need the dishes clean. You need the dishes clean. You need this laundry folded. You need the laundry folded. Like it is, you just grew and then birthed a human being, right? So it's again, going back to the easier said than done, but it is, people want to help. So ask for it. don't feel bad about more eating out, etc. Like those kinds of things. And then to the extent that you can, try to do something each day that makes you feel like you. And everybody has a different thing. Everybody has a different one of these, whether it's just putting on a clean set of clothes, whether it's taking a 4-second shower, whether it's making sure that you run a brush through your hair, whether it's making sure that you have like a sip of coffee, etc. Like whatever that thing is for you, make sure that you try to at least one thing a day that makes you feel a little bit more yourself. Yes, family support is so amazing. And or friends, your village, people want to help other people. I'm adopted and my parents didn't know I was going to be there until I was born. My mom always joked that she could get everything she needed in 24 hours and the rest didn't matter. Absolutely. There's really not a lot you can do about life after the baby other than just roll with the punches because every baby is different. Also very true. Good advice, Brittany, from about to be second-time mom. Hearing this is so great. Thank you so much. I could cry. I could cry too, because I know that I mean, I was there and it's hard. And I also had the list and I also had the fear and you figure it out. And then you blink and they're 16 months. It's freaking bananas. Oh my gosh, you guys. This is going to be our Q&A today. Okay, who was next? Oh, prepare to start a family. Oh my gosh, I love that one is right after the next one. Samantha. Oh my gosh, first off, sending you all of the good vibes. I don't feel like I need to dig deeper on this one in terms of a why or a clarification on definitions or whatever. Like this, I get that. I've had the same goal. My advice for you is to take care of yourself mentally and physically. Just is to the extent that you can, focus on yourself. Followed up with conversations with your spouse or partner, whoever you are planning to start a family with. And if it's just you, awesome. There's a member of my mom group who is a single mom by choice, and she is amazing and freaking superwoman. Like she is superwoman. But make sure that you are on the same page. There's lots of things you can Google about like conversations to have, etc. But kind of going off what we were just talking about with Carrie, there's only so much that you can plan and prepare. And there's only so many conversations that you can have. And some of it is like, you're just going to have to do it and jump in. And as planners, this can be so hard. I get it. Like you want to plan the right timing and all the things, and you can only do so much. And I've always enjoyed the quote that if you waited until the right time to have a baby, you would never have a baby, because the right time like never truly exists. There's always something, so like if you feel like it's even remotely a possibility that you're ready, like you're ready. Because it's never gonna be 100% is what I'm trying to say. So those would be my initial thoughts. I don't know if there's anything else. Yes, with your husband, we both have busier seasons of the year, so we can get caught up. It's, and I have to laugh because I did it the first time and I find myself, I'm doing it again. I'm sitting here, literally the amount of Googles I've done that's like 40 weeks from this date, Laken. First off, you cannot plan that perfectly. Second off, your last one came at 37. So you probably should start Googling 37. Like it is just so, you can't. It's just, you're going to figure it out. Like there is always going to be a hard time. There's always going to be like, there isn't really a right time, I guess is what I'm also trying to say. And so focus on what you can control, which is taking care of your mental health and your physical health. And then just trying and just jumping in, and it's time. And this is when I do, if you've never heard me talk about it before, I'm a very, very firm believer, even as a planner and an organizer, that everything happens for a reason, and that there are pieces of the universe that are not in our control. In fact, my tattoo is my Mima's handwriting, DO. It stands for divine order, which means everything happens for a reason. And same. Yeah, right. The Googling, right? I can Google 40 weeks from X date every month until forever. Or I could just say, okay, I think it's time that we like think about, maybe trying for number 2, and then we just do, right? Like we just start. I'm not there yet. So I sip my second cup of coffee today. But yeah. And it can take up to a year for the average couple with no issues. So best laid plans may not end up that way anyway. Absolutely, for sure. My sons are adults now, but I remember how nervous I was in the beginning. And the only thing I'd wish I'd done better was reduce living costs so that I could work less and have more time with them. Oh, that's so sweet. That is so sweet. And I feel that. I feel that. Okay. Hopefully that was helpful. All the babies, y'all. So many baby about to be born, a baby born in a couple months, and then hopefully a future baby for Samantha and her husband. All right, Krista, prioritizing your health on a budget. I love this one. So first off, with every time we talk about this topic, I always need to start with, I am not certified in any sort of health coach, anything at all. Everything I talk about related to health and wellness is coming at it from a goal setting habit mindset, right? So just starting there. That said, whenever we talk about health, I always recommend my friend Justina's YouTube channel. And she has a fantastic YouTube channel with lots of free advice, free workouts, and like nutrition and all kinds of stuff. So that would be my first step, is in terms of education and workouts, YouTube has freaking everything. That's a good place to start. And then she has lots of recommendations from there. Actually, her Vlogmas series was where she tried a new YouTube workout person every day in December. And so you could watch that and get some picking new ones. Then her video today that I actually already watched, but I love, is about starting on health goals and starting small. And she talks about the average recommendations. So there is a strength recommendation that's like 2 to 3 times a week strength training. And then it's like 150 minutes of cardio, 7,000 to 8,000 steps a day, balanced nutrition, the water and sleep ones. I don't remember what they are. And she talks about how like, you can't just jump from 0 to that, right? You have to start small. And she gives like actual examples. Going back to the avatar, she creates a little avatar person, and says like, talks about that person's life and what their fitness goals and health goals could be. It's very cool. So start there. Highly recommend. And then her channel name, it's Justina. I'll type it in, but then I will also link it when it's over. Justina. I was trying to pop your goal back up. Okay. The other thing I will say is I understand that it is tough in terms of like eating healthy, right? There's a lot of like, I don't even know what to call it, but like that eating healthier is more expensive. And like, yeah, hey, there we go. It's literally what I was about to go into, because I assume that that's what like it was going. And so here's my initial thoughts. I have always said, because I'm somebody who doesn't like cooking, and I feel that. And that when it comes to planning meals and cooking, we would all love for every meal that we cook to be healthy, whatever that means to us, right? Healthy means different for different people. People have different dietary needs, et cetera, different goals. Easy, quick, and inexpensive. And unfortunately, that is not always the case. And so sometimes we have to decide that we're going to prioritize one over the other. And so if your health is important to you, maybe it's cutting costs in other places in order to be able to feel like you can prioritize the eating healthy aspect of it. That's part one. Part two is it's going to maybe require some repetitive eating, because I do feel like one of the best ways to eat healthy without spending money is buying more, right? Buying chicken in bulk and then freezing it and cooking it, or buying the big bag of salad, but then you've got to eat it before it goes bad, but it might mean you're eating salad like for every meal, right? Things like that it is more cost effective when you buy more per meal. And I personally would get bored, but like, again, it's priorities, right? You may not get a lot of variety if you're prioritizing health and cost at that point. I also think there are a lot of great YouTube channels for like budget friendly this and that, that you can probably find. The other thing I would remind you of here is we're not aiming for perfection. right? We're not aiming for like the best or think about the little improvements. What are the little tweaks that you can make that are not necessarily that much more expensive, right? Maybe instead of buying hamburger buns, you eat a burger on a salad instead, and the buns and the salad may be comparable in cost. Making little shifts like that instead of trying to make massive changes to what you're eating or what you're doing. Oh my gosh. Duh. My brain was not clicking. Krista, the fact that you're here live after your eye surgery is freaking amazing. So we just talked about this on the coaching call yesterday, that you can't do anything right now because of your eye surgery. So I love that you have a meal train going. I'm right now, yeah, focus on right now, just healing and not worrying about it. And then what you can do after, just focus on the small tweaks, the small changes from what you normally do. I would oh my God, I totally forgot about this. So Justina also did a couple years ago, she did $100 food day challenge, $100 for the month. Her goal for Vlogmas was to eat off of $100 and to show that you can eat healthy. She did a lot of canned veggies, was a big part of this. A lot of frozen stuff. Oh my gosh, that's right. Yeah, that was Vlogmas. I think it was 22. Good reminder. If you have access to an Aldi, yes. Oh my gosh, Aldi. Why is everything so much less expensive there? Someone explain that to me. I have 2 kids and a husband, but modifications to the meals they eat. Oh my gosh, yes. So that is also another piece of this puzzle that I didn't talk about, right? If you're not just cooking for you, you're cooking for others, right? They may hear burger on a salad and they're like, Mom, that sounds disgusting. Please don't. Please put my burger on a bun, right? You make a slight modification to what works for you. Maybe you only have half the bun, right? And then the other half you use at a later date or whatever for something else, and making a slight modification to still providing them with a meal that they're going to eat. Okay. Oh my gosh, because of the marketing practices in traditional grocery stores. It's crazy. Okay, I think we may have time for one more. Joanne, I saw you just join, and this goal makes me so happy for you. This makes me so happy for you. Okay, but I have to scroll up to the people who submitted the goals earlier. It sounds like this concept is amazing, and I think we need to do this again. I think we need to do this again. Okay. Okay, here's the last one. Also, is Mona, is that your name? I don't want to pronounce your, if that is like just your YouTube channel, your name is something different. Okay, which one of these goals would you like to dig into a little bit more? Pick one of the 3, and then let's dive into a little bit more. Okay, yes, your name is Mona. Okay, great. Okay, good. I'm glad you guys are loving this. I think maybe we do it monthly, quarterly. I don't know. Okay, goal number 3. Okay, so I'm going to pull this back up. Mona said her 3rd goal was it was finished project, something. Wow, I'm scrolling way far back up. Okay. Complete projects, aka 1 episode of my series before I start the next one. So when you find yourself doing this, like when you find yourself moving on to the next project without having completed one, is it because you feel like it is going to take too long? You don't know what the next step is, or you just get excited about a new project? Like, what is it that typically causes you to pivot to the next project on your list? Awkward pause while we wait for her to share. Okay, I'm glad that you guys are loving this topic or this concept. I get bored and I get anxious that I publish not enough. Okay, so I feel you on the getting bored and wanting to move on to another things. So I want you to, a couple of things. One, you coming up with some sort of reward system or some sort of actually seeing the progress when you when you say series, I'm assuming you mean writing. Like you're writing, you're moving on to the next one. And if you are a writer and you're not following Sarah Cannon, I would highly recommend. I will link both of her channels. She has her author channel, Sarah Cannon, and then her like author business channel, which is called Heart Breathings. So I'm multi-passionate, I think. Okay. So I don't necessarily have personal experience in this scenario, right? And not being able to just like publish and move on. But I think that maybe, thank you, Colleen, it's remembering the why you started the other series in the first place. So it's okay to have more than one passion. It's okay to have other things that you want to work on. But having unfinished projects is leaving you feeling unsatisfied, right? It's not good for you. And so reminding yourself, why is it that you started that project in the first place? What is important about it? And how can you give yourself the credit you deserve for finishing and moving on? And whatever kind of celebration or tracking system it is that helps you with that, I think a Kanban board would be a really great option here. But figuring out a way for you to be held accountable to actually finishing what you start and what you say you're going to do, and then before you even start the next one. And I'm not saying like if you have an idea for a new book or a new series when you're in the middle of one, don't lose that idea. Go write it down somewhere. Go have a place that you jot down all your ideas, but then you go right back to the one that you're working on until you're done with it. Now, I know that there are authors who write multiple things at multiple times. I don't know how that works. I don't know if that is, your brain has to operate a specific way. But what I have learned from my years of watching Sarah Cannon is that it really, really is better to just focus on what you're working on and commit to it. And then you get to move on to the next one. And whatever it takes for you to do that, I think once you start doing this, like once you commit and you start publishing, you will feel a lot more, you'll feel that and it will get easier. I think. I write and I make short videos for language learners and there are 15 series. Oh my gosh, that's amazing. But yes, finishing one. And if you feel like you can manage multiple and you can pivot, do that. But if you want to commit to finishing one, track it, give yourself the credit, and then move on. Don't move on until you finished it. Michelle, I do this a lot with craft projects. I try to use the second project as a reward activity for completing X amount in the first one. I love that too. That's a great idea. That's a great suggestion. Yeah, there's lots of options for rewards, and using your new project as a reward is a great suggestion. Okay, it is already 12:58. Holy moly. I definitely think we need to come back to something like this because I think this was absolutely great. But I want to make sure that we have time to answer or to do our last question, which is, what is one thing you're going to do this week to make progress on your goals? What is that one small step that you are going to take this week to make progress on your goals? If you are still here live, thank you for hanging out with me. I want you to let us know in the chat. And if you are part of the replay fam, I want you to share in the comments, what is your one thing? My one thing is going to be to enjoy our trip as much as one can enjoy it with a 16-month-old. But it's going to be beautiful. We're going to the Bahamas, so there will be no live next week. And in honor of the Bahamas, if you watched all the way to the end, I would love for you to comment with the little beach emoji to acknowledge the beach. Although I think it's going to be warm there, but the actual water in the ocean is supposed to be really cold, but the pools are heated. So we will at least be in the pools. Watching the community call from Tuesday. I love it. Sending a birthday card. Start the list to get everything out of your head. I love it. Plan your January action steps. So many great steps. A little beach emoji. Set up 2 future friend dates. Complete 1 episode. Yes. Meeting with your financial advisor, with your fiance. Oh my God. I love it. Pulling out December daily. Vision board. So many good things. All right, y'all. Thank you so much for hanging out with me. It feels so good to be back live. If you wouldn't mind giving this video a thumbs up before you head out, I would greatly appreciate that. And I will see all of you not next week, but the week after. Have a great week.